So we are doing an influencer series brought to you by Alligga, and we're highlighting some amazing up-and-coming individuals in the health and wellness industry. And with me today I have Devika Sharma. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Now what I love about this girl is she's very smart, not just a pretty face. You have a lot of education behind yourself as a registered dietitian. I love that you have a Bachelor of Science degree in biology at SFU, and then you felt that that wasn't enough. So you went back to school again, got another Bachelor of Science degree at SFU, focusing as a dietetics, is that correct?
That's correct.
Why 2 degrees? Why is one not enough these days?
Well, initially I was doing my first degrees because I wanted to become a doctor or a pharmacist, and then organic chemistry happened, and that all didn't follow. That fell apart. So basically I was doing a kines degree on the side, and I thought I would rather reform it into health and fitness, just because there was a need for it.
Sure.
With the rates in certain type of diseases increasing, I just felt like, I had to do more.
Right.
And that more was getting into the nutrition field. So I went back to UBC. I was already doing some research for Dr. Louis Ambrose, so it was good because it went hand in hand.
Right.
And so I went back and I thought, this is what I want to do. And education was one of them.
And the work that you're doing now is renal dietitian. Explain that, renal dietitian.
Renal dietitian, yeah. So the last 4 years, so I've been in the actual health industry for about 10. I've been practicing as a dietitian for 6 years, with the last 4 years focusing on individuals who deal with chronic kidney disease.
Right.
So for me, right now, my patient load is for individuals whose kidneys no longer function and they're on hemodialysis. And it's pretty cool because everything that they eat shows up in their blood work.
Wow. Today in front of us we have a bunch of stuff to do with fiber you want to talk about.
Yes, it's my favorite nutrient.
Is it?
Yes,
wow.
yes.
I've never heard anybody say that before in all these years.
Yeah, it's my favorite. So
it's very important.
Yes, I'm very grateful that you're allowing me to talk about this.
Awesome. Well, go right ahead. Jump into it.
Yeah, so the most common question I get is, well, what is fiber, Dev? Like, what is it? And to put it into, I guess, not so much like wordy, I guess, is that it is a non-digestible carbohydrate that's found naturally in plant foods, such as fruits, vegetables, grains, seeds, legumes. Dietary fiber is the one that's found naturally, and then there's functional fiber, which is a term we often use for isolated carbohydrates that have been added into food. So such as soluble corn fiber, which is added into cereal to help give it more fiber. The other big thing is, some people ask me, well, like, is all fiber the same? And the answer is not really. Because there's different types of fibers that exist, we often look at different physical properties. So things like fermentability, viscosity, solubility, so the degree in which it disperses in water. And solubility is the one that is most commonly used to differentiate between 2 bigger classes of fibers, if you will.
So solubility is how well it mixes in a liquid or water?
Yes, that's exactly it. So that is how it breaks it down into 2. So the first one is soluble fibers, and then the second one is insoluble fibers. So soluble fibers is what I like to refer to as a mop. It essentially forms like a gel when it binds into water, which is important because it helps to slow down the absorption of food through the digestive tract.
Making you feel fuller as well?
Yes. So with that, though, that ability actually allows it to bind to cholesterol, and it promotes its excretion through the feces. And this is actually the type of fiber that we recommend when patients have diarrhea, for example. Having that type of fiber in the colon, it allows it to bind to the excess water, making your stools a little bit more firm. It's also great because it actually helps with blood sugar control, because it slows down the absorption of carbohydrates. So soluble fiber is one that's mostly found in oats, barley, psyllium. It's also found in certain types of legumes, like black beans, certain fruits and vegetables, like an orange or even asparagus.
So you're recommending more of that?
More fiber in general. So it's important that we have a diet that contains many types of plant foods.
Got it.
So the second category is insoluble fiber. So insoluble fiber is the one that I like to refer to as a broom. It literally sweeps through the digestive tract. mostly unchanged, and it promotes regular bowel movements as well as promoting overall gut health. Okay, so this is the type of fiber you do not want to have if you are having diarrhea, otherwise you will be in the bathroom longer. But it is one that we often recommend when patients are constipated, because it actually allows or pulls water into the actual stool in the colon, and that way it helps to basically make you go to the bathroom.
Right.
So the other thing is, the next question I often get is, well, that's great, I know I'm supposed to have fiber, but how much fiber am I supposed to have? Okay, so it really depends upon the gender as well as the age group. Okay, so men aged 19 to 50, it's about 38 grams of fiber per day. And it sounds overwhelming, but I'll show you what that looks like.
Yeah.
And then men aged 51 and older, it's about 30 grams of fiber a day. Okay. For females 19 to 50, it's about 25 grams of fiber a day. And then from 51 and above, it's about 21 grams of fiber a day. Now, if you were breastfeeding or if you're pregnant, it changes. So pregnancy, you require about 28 grams, and then if you're breastfeeding, it's a little bit higher with 29 grams of fiber per day. Okay.
Still sounds like a lot.
It does sound a lot, and you know the average person has only half, like 15.
I'm sure that I'm not hitting it.
Yeah,
as conscious as I am about it, I'm sure that I'm probably not.
And it's actually not too bad. So let me just show you what a 30-gram fiber day would look like. Okay. So right here, if you had, for example, that's 100% whole grain toast. Okay, each slice has about 3 grams of fiber. If you were to pair that with 1/4 an avocado, I know this is a full one.
Avocado toast.
Sorry. Yes,
Yummy.
avocado toast, absolutely. So you could do that. Another option is if you were to have half a cup of quinoa, half a cup of chickpeas with a cup of broccoli. Okay, if you
that would meet the amount.
All of this in one day. So all of this in one day. So that could be a lunch or dinner option. Some snack options would be like a 1/4 cup of hummus with 15 baby carrots, a 1/4 cup of nuts with an apple, and then I like to actually make homemade high fiber muffins, so I get to enjoy it. So all of that, which is not, I mean, it looks like a lot, but that would be a 30-gram fiber day. And that isn't even covering like another meal if you were to have one, right? But so it's pretty easy as long as you're hitting a lot of plant foods, and if the majority of your food is coming from the whole food group.
Well, we always hear about plant-based proteins, but you're saying, I mean, there's a great source of fiber to come from it as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. And one being the soluble fiber, which is huge, because we know that it's beneficial for the cholesterol piece, the blood sugar piece. And the one thing I didn't talk about actually is the feeling of being full. That is a huge benefit to having a lot of fiber, because it actually can help with weight management. The other few things that fiber has the potential, or at least some kind of role in reducing the risk of cardiovascular disease, diabetes, obesity, and even some cancers like colorectal cancer.
Why has, it's a colorectal cancer, why has gut health and your colon become such a topic of conversation today? 20 years ago, it wasn't so much. Why are we having an issue with our colons as well?
You know, it was interesting because I did read a study about this, and with the way our health trends are changing, one being a very low carb based diet versus, you know, higher fat, higher protein intake. When someone removes a lot of the basis of their whole grains, if you will, or even some of the legumes, if you will, you actually lose a lot of the fiber, okay? And fiber is so important in keeping your bowels regular and your overall gut health, right? It's actually food, if you will, for some of your good gut bacteria, right? So when you're actually
like
removing,
the prebiotics.
Exactly. So when you're actually removing some of that fiber, your gut health is taking a hit. And with that, you are actually increasing the risk for issues such as potential for colorectal cancer.
What other things do you like about fiber in your diet? I'm seeing popcorn and other things, seeds. And
Absolutely. So the one thing that I love, other than munching on popcorn, is flax seeds. So it is one of the most popular functional foods, if you will, that is out there right now, and for various reasons. One being is that it offers a really crunchy texture and a nutty flavor. Okay, making it very versatile on what kind of foods you can throw it in. Okay, 2 grams of flax seeds, it can give you 4 grams of fiber. It gives you some protein. It gives you some thiamine, magnesium, manganese. Basically, it's great, and it has all these nutrients that are beneficial for you, right?
Okay.
And it's also one that actually it's starting to be looked at in terms of its role with a certain type of diseases. So its reduction risk in heart disease, for example. So flaxseed actually has 3 kind of major components. So dietary fiber and lignin, and then it also has the omega-3s in it, okay? So the anti-inflammatory properties of the omega-3 and the lignin is what actually is thought to be linked to, or possibly linked to, decreasing the risk for CVD or cardiovascular disease. Okay. The antioxidant activity that flax seeds also offer is thought to maybe present itself with the role in slowing down the progression of cancers, certain cancers such as breast cancer. And then the last thing, it has fiber, so it just keeps you feeling full, and I think that's really important overall, because this is where we run into issues of overeating and just not getting enough of a certain nutrient.
And I think that when people are dieting, I think the trick is to try to stay full, and that is through the choices of the foods that you make.
Absolutely. The one thing I will say about fiber, though, is if you are increasing fiber in your diet, absolutely. Otherwise, you will be dealing with abdominal cramping and constipation, and you will not like anything that I just
then you'll be
said.
like, forget it, fiber's not for me.
Yes, exactly. So just again, if someone who is trying to include more fiber in their diet, what I usually recommend is start with about 5 grams to 7 grams per week until you get to your goal. Okay, and just really making sure you're having enough amount of fluid, and this does include water, but other types of beverages will work as well, just to make sure that you are able to pass it all through.
Perfect. Well, listen, fiber is important, and I'm glad that you spoke to the topic, because in this day and age, I think that we are fast tracking a lot of our foods and taking shortcuts and not looking at the importance of fiber in our diet. And it's a big one.
It's a big one.
It's a very big one. If you want more information on Devika, you can go to your Instagram page, the best way, or onebite.ca is your website.
That's right.
Awesome, and you can see that on the lower part of the screen as well. Thanks for being on the show.
Thank you.
Thanks.